Hi guys, it's Eileen from Now There's a Crafty Idea, and I've decided to do a little series. And what I've been doing is, I think I've mentioned in a previous video about these Ladybird books, sorry. And I just absolutely love them, so I decided to make some journals. And when I was looking through my books to find some inspiration on what I wanted to use, I realised that I had quite a few of the fairy tales. And fairy tales and folk tales are absolutely one of my loves. I've done a little bit of storytelling in my time, and I absolutely adore the old fairy tales and folk tales. And I've always loved them. The just the romance of them, the imagery of them, and I absolutely adore telling these stories and reading these stories and seeing these stories. So I decided to do a Ladybird fairy tale series. So what I've done is I've chosen certain books out of my stash, my considerable stash, and I've decided to make them into little journals. Now this one it's kind of a prototype. So I started with the Rumpelstiltskin, and I've just given it a proper spine and reinforced that. And then you can see I've used the book edges, because very often on these books there were children's books, and most of them are from the 70s, and very often the first things that go are the corners. So I have reinforced the corners with the little metal corner reinforcers. And then I haven't actually finished sewing in, but you can see on the inside I've actually put some paper. Some of them have got some beautiful images on, some of them have been unfortunately drawn on. This one was quite damaged, so I've had to put an end paper in. And then I've made some little notebooks to go in them. And then on this one, because what you'll find with these Ladybird books is that they won't have one or two signatures in. They'll have about 5 signatures. So if you want to keep the book in sequence, you're going to have more than your normal amount of signatures. So this one has 5 signatures. That might seem a lot for such a little junk journal, but it's so that I could keep the book in series. Now I've done that with this one. I'm not going to do it with the rest of them, because quite frankly you don't need to have this many signatures, but this one I wanted to. And I've used some nice scrapbook papers. I can't remember the name of this one. I will find it and I'll link it below. But again, this comes from a craft stash that has been collected over 30 years, so it probably will not be available to buy now. So unfortunately I'm sorry about that, but I will link it down below. And just as a message for this whole series, I've checked angel policies on everything I've used, copyrights and angel policies, and I am glad to report that nothing that I used has a problem with the angel policies. And these are all individual pieces of art, of work, and so you're allowed to use the imagery and the books themselves, because I'm not using the full book and I'm not using it as a book, I'm not reproducing it. You're allowed to use them. So I'm not going to give you a full flip through. I'm just going to show you a couple of the pages that I've kept, because the imagery in these old books is beautiful. And that's why I started collecting them in the first place, because I thought that artwork was gorgeous. Plus it reminds me of my childhood, you know, who didn't have these books when you were a kid? And again, these are just all the different signatures, and the imagery is just gorgeous. And I will do a flip through when I finish this one, because obviously they will be going on Etsy for sale, maybe. I make these and then I'm in love with fairy tales, and I think, no, I want to keep them, I want to keep them. You might see them on Etsy. I'm talking myself into it. I will put them on Etsy. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've done so far. Like I say, this one's been a bit of a prototype, but now I've decided to go ahead with the series, and I'm going to do a full tutorial from actually getting the book, to taking the cover off, to reinforcing the spine, to doing end papers if you need to. I'm not going to do end papers on this one, because as you can see the end papers are gorgeous. To taking out the signatures and deciding which images that you want to use, and and then everything else, choosing all of your papers. So it'll be a full series from start to finish. We'll start with this book. This is the one I've chosen because I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favourite stories, and we will go through until this is a finished journal, and I will show you the different stages I've gotten to with different books, such as this one, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I've started on the cover on this one. I haven't gotten very far, and as you can see, I've just took the signatures out, and then I think I've done the same on a couple of these. I love this book. When I was a kid, I absolutely adored this book. It was my favourite. These books are probably where I got my love of fairy tales from, and so yeah, it's kind of full circle, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, like I say, I've started on these covers. Again, this one, the inside cover was so beautiful, I didn't want to replace it. So what I've done is I've made sure that the fabric fabric for the spine has covered the whole spine, so that when I put the signatures in, you'll be able to see. So like I say, we're going to be working on this one, Beauty and the Beast. Rumpelstiltskin is my prototype, and then these ones are the ones that I'm going to be making in the series. Some of them I've already started doing some work on. We do have a couple that are overlapping, so this again is Beauty and the Beast, but it's a different book, and the imagery in it is different because they were written and printed at different times. So you can see this one is the old style, it's very vintage. This one was a little bit more modern, so you can see it's not the full pages, the images go across the pages. So you will find some slight variations in them. And this one, which I think is, I keep on saying it's my favourite. They're all my favourite. They're the ones that I've already started work on. So I'll be showing you those at different stages. And then these are the ones that we haven't started on. So as you can see, they're all fairy tale books. They're all vintage. Most of them come from the 70s and 80s. I can't actually find them. Let's see. This one's 1964, and then I'm showing my age now, aren't I? I wasn't born in 1964. Wasn't even thought of. No, I'm not going to give my age away. Do you know, I never used to be bothered about age. It was just, I used to say, I'm going to grow old gracefully, until I found my first grey hair, and then it was like, I need hair dye, I need this, I need that. Yeah, the gracefully went out the window. So yeah, back to the video. Sorry. So yeah, these are the ones that we're going to be working on. So these are the ones that haven't actually been started yet, and I will show you bits of these books all the way through, but this is the one that we're going to be mostly working with, and you'll see the whole process. So I hope that you're going to follow along, and I hope that you're going to enjoy the series, and I will try my best to stay on task and not worry about my age. So yeah, come back and visit me and see the series and enjoy it, and we'll make a journal together. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Have a great day, and bye.